Hello and welcome to this Wall Lattes session featuring Pilates and a wall. You will need a wall, a mat, some yoga blocks will come in handy, and so will a pillow. We are going to do approximately 10 different moves that I love using the wall for. So we're going to start in a variation of a downward dog, bringing the palms shoulder width or wider onto the wall, letting your chest and head hang forward, reaching your tailbone back, heels down. Feet are wider than hips here, maybe looking side to side for that neck release and enjoying this stretch through the arms, shoulders, chest, legs. We can reach one arm down and you may want to use a yoga block just to bring your floor a little closer to you. And moving into a twist, so that top arm on the wall is moving a little bit more to the center and the bottom hand is pressing down into the floor or the block. And then we can switch, keeping tailbone high and allowing for some rotation in the trunk of our body. Breathe in, breathe out, let the chest expand. And let's come back into our first position, both hands on the wall and bending one knee, getting into some hip stretching and switching the bend to the other knee for a breath here. And moving into a chest opener. Whatever hand is on the wall, the same foot is going to be forward, the same leg is going to step forward, and you're going to just twist away from the wall, getting a great stretch through that bicep, shoulder, chest area. And I just have the block in my other hand because we're going to be using it for the next move coming up. So twisting away from the wall, and we'll switch sides. So it doesn't really matter which foot or leg you have forward, but I feel that I find more of a stretch when the same side, you'll see I switch here, the same leg as the arm on the wall is stepping away from that arm. So your body is twisting away from that arm. And try to hold for a couple breaths, deep inhales, deep exhales. This is especially good if you've done any work on your upper body, strengthening work, weightlifting, or even just holding a lot of planks. Great stretch. Chloe is attempting to steal the focus of this video, but she will not win. So now we're going to move into a seated squat. And I'm just using the block between the knees to activate some more muscles in the inner thighs, pressing the arms and triceps into the wall, exhale, squeezing, and trying to get my hips as low as my knees. So if you can shimmy down another ½ inch lower, 5 more bonus points for you. And thinking happy thoughts is helpful as you exhale, trying to draw abdominals in and in. And let's try reaching the arms forward for these final moments. And now you're going to use the help of your arms to push into the wall and come up and away. Great wall move. And now dropping down onto your knees, I'm just going to use a little pillow to sit on. You don't need the pillow, but sometimes it's helpful for tighter knees. And you need to find the right distance away from the wall for this back bend. So I'm actually going to move a little further away. Reach the arms up and overhead and see if you can make contact with your fingertips or your palms. Pressing into the wall, deep heart opener. The spine is arching. Supported back bend. Maybe a little forehead tap to the wall. And then releasing the arms first. And then slowly bringing the head back into place. Just a couple shoulder rolls to release the intensity from that wall pose. And now bringing the palms down to the floor, we're going to use the wall as a little bit of feedback for our downward dog. Lifting the hips high and dropping those heels right into the wall so they're really feeling the feedback from the wall. Toes are forward, arms are strong and pressing, and feel free to stay here and breathe as you anchor those heels. Or kick it up a notch and bring the shoulders over the wrists. See if you can bring the feet to press into the wall. This is a great shoulder strengthener. And the feet are about hip width apart and tailbone to the sky. Another great inversion here with the support of the wall. And if you like, you can take one leg up to the ceiling, but the other foot has to stay very connected and grounded to that wall. You have to really feel secure. And then try the other leg, stretching up for a moment. Only for professionals, this one. And then bending the knees and slow dismount. And just establishing our down dog for one more breath here. And then the good news is we get to lie down for the remainder of this wall session. Bringing the knees down, having a seat, and I'm just setting up the blocks on either side, and the pillow will be needed shortly. So scoot nice and close to the wall and lie down, bringing the legs up to the wall here. So this is a nice place to be, just letting the circulation flow through the legs, getting a little reverse blood flow. And we're going to move this into more of a strengthening move. So I'm going to move the pillow just for this bridge lift so the head is on a flat surface, and pick those hips up. Press the feet into the wall and exhale, hips high. Breathe here. You'll feel some pressure in the back of the shoulders. Let those arms press down, little tricep work. And then try stretching one leg straight. And then the other. See if the hips can stay where they are and both legs straight. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Happy thoughts. Can bend the elbows and hold that low back. Push down into the back of the arms and see if the legs can lift away from the wall up into towards a shoulder stand, more of a candlestick pose because the hands are lower on the back. You're looking right up to those toes. And if you want to walk the hands more to the middle back, towards the upper back, you can point the toes higher, squeeze those glutes we just found in our bridge, and come more into a shoulder stand before reconnecting with the wall. And releasing the arms. Bending the knees, sliding the feet down. Last moment here in wall bridge. A great move, total body move, especially good for the back and glute strength. And then we'll lower that all the way down. Bending the knees, bringing the feet together into butterfly. You may want your blocks just to support the thighs, and arms can just rest freely at the side, or they can push gently into the inner thigh, the edge of the feet resting into the wall, and stay here for a moment. This is a bit of a tribute to Yin yoga, where we're staying for a little bit longer in these poses. Option to stretch out one leg to the side, a great inner thigh stretch, and I'm flexing the feet, and then the other side. And if you're really feeling ambitious, you might try both legs at the same time into probably my favorite wall pose, the straddle. This is a great place to be if you're working on flexibility, range of motion, injury prevention, stress relief, lots of tight muscles here in the hips, glutes, thighs, groin. So just let it go. I'm using the blocks just to support the weight of the legs. And I'm flexing the feet. Sometimes I stay here for many, many minutes and I listen to podcasts or audiobooks, or I do face yoga or some other activity to distract myself from the sensations that I'm experiencing in the lower body and legs, but also just to make it perhaps a bit more dynamic. You can do some breath work, a meditation. You can do some footwork, pointing and flexing the feet. You can always bend one knee in if this becomes too much. And if you like, you can just stretch the arms up to the ceiling, doing a little arm, wrist, palm stretch, pulling the fingers back as you breathe in and breathe out. Try to be sitting very close to the wall. Maybe you feel your pelvic floor, your sitting bones connected to the wall. If not, you may be a few inches away from the wall, as long as you're not arching your back away from the floor. So try to be in a nice neutral spinal position. And we'll stay for a few more breaths here. Maybe some positive thinking. Using our hands, we're going to slowly heel walk. Take your time bringing those feet back together into butterfly pose. And then place the feet flat onto the wall, just into a knees to chest pose. This sometimes feels really wonderful for the low back. So if it feels good for you, stay for a few more breaths. We're going to add a twist, stacking one leg on top of the other and bringing the legs to the floor, and the feet stay pressed into the wall and the tailbone reaches down into the wall. Placing one hand on top just to keep the alignment and to add a little bit more depth into our twist. As you inhale, try to let the breath drop a little deeper, past the chest, through the ribs, into the low back, low abdomen, pelvic floor. And take your time starting to move the legs and transitioning to side number 2. Legs stacked. So the wall helps provide some feedback. It helps us find our alignment more. Depending on the exercise or the pose, it can be very supportive, assisting us in a different way as opposed to if we were just in free form on the floor without the wall. So stretching that arm away from the legs. You can rotate the palm upwards for a little bit more chest opening, or keep the palm planted down into the mat. Tune into your breath. Think a happy thought. Try to drop the breath to the low back, hips. And take your time walking the legs back to the center. And we're going to take one leg and fold it over the other. Bend that bottom leg so the foot is pressing into the wall. The closer you are to the wall, the more intense this is going to be. So you might want to scoot away a couple inches if it's too much. And this is a great stretch for our glutes and hips, which also helps release our low back tension. And as we exhale, we're going to see if that foot on the wall can just slide down maybe another inch lower. And that brings that bottom knee a little closer to our body. But if this is feeling really intense, you're just going to stay, hold, and breathe. Let's slowly release, just stretching the legs up the wall before we bend leg number 2 across the opposite leg and bring that bottom foot to the wall. Allow that knee to bend towards you. Check that the foot that's closest to you is not twisted or torqued. Try to keep the ankle neutral and the foot even a little bit flexed. You can stretch the arms open to the side. Feel a nice chest expansion. And just check your low back, nice and neutral. So probably feeling contact with the mat because the legs are lifted like this. Breathe into that low back. You can always add a little foot reflexology here if you have the time. And then slowly stretching both legs back up the wall again. And hip width apart, we're just going to rotate these legs outwards and inwards. Feel the rotation right at the hip socket through the entire leg. Just releasing. And our final move is legs up the wall. So let those legs relax up the wall. You can close your eyes here, just let the arms sprawl out to the side. Palms up if it feels natural, comfortable. And just let gravity do its work. This is a position that we're never in unless we consciously put ourselves into it. So it really counteracts our everyday functions. Well, now legs are up, and it's shifting a lot of things in our body. The flow of blood and circulation, the pressure we feel, sometimes in our hips and pelvis and back. So it can be a very de-stressing and comforting position for us. And then slowly bring your legs down, take your time, roll to one side, push yourself up, think some happy thoughts. You're the best. You took some time for yourself today. Until next time.